Well, this is part 2 of the video about shimming, which is inspired by a nameless kind soul that sent me a message, and I'm getting ready for tomorrow, so just filled up over here. It's 3:55. I dropped the trail, went across the street, saved 20 cents, got one tank at 3.35 a gallon. Yes. And I really love this, by the way. You know, you see, everything is much bigger over here. It doesn't even scratch. You know, on the previous drop side rail, even the engineer said that the way they designed it, like when you're hooking back and this thing is moving, the last 1 inch, it's designed to slide on this metal, which I don't think is a very fine engineering solution. This thing, it's a much bigger footprint, you know, and it just goes down like almost vertically, you know, when I have these things on the frame, and then I wait until it's almost down. You know, I love this trailer, and I love how it has 60 tons in 12, no matter how many axles you have in the back. Right, my 55 ton was changing to 55 and 16 when you had something like this. But this one, you see, it's 60 ton, even with the flip box in the front, single axle booster in the back, or 2+2. Still 60 tons and 12. But anyway, so what I was able to do, and for some reason it escaped my brain, is that the guy says you don't need to take out the pin to put in the shim. And I'm like, what? And I reread that email like 10 times, and finally it dawned on me that he's right. You know, and so at first I did it like this. I could not do it on this axle, but this one had much less. So now I'm just, you know, I'm just trying. So basically I took this off, right, on one side. I put this in, and I still was not able to take the pin out, right? But you don't actually need it, except that I don't like it that that shim is only in half of the width, you know. So I thought maybe I'm supposed to use 2, but I emailed one guy that shims for a living with 10-12 axles. He says that's fine, and that's what I did. See, but then I cannot put this back because it becomes too thick. But so on this axle it worked fine. Just note the position of the pin, which way it's directed, right? On the on this axle, originally that pin was facing down, you know, it was facing down, and of course again the pins were locked. Oh, wait a second, no, this one is not locked. Okay, because yeah, now the front of the trailer is down. So once it's, and plus I'm in the lowest position, so once the front of the trailer will go up, it'll press on that shim. I still cannot fix this. See, this one sticks out a little bit, and no matter what I tried, it still sits like that. But so the yellow is the smallest one. Okay, I just tried that. For now I'm just, you know, learning. So we use the yellow on the last axle, and we use the medium size on this. You see, this one is not spinning. I think it's because of the level is not, the ground is not level. But you see, that's what it does. It creates an angle at the top, and so this axle will push harder into the ground. And so yeah, what happened over there is that I could not take that pin out, you know, for some reason. It was in a very awkward position. I think it was flipped, and I started playing with the suspension, and eventually I was able to turn. So eventually this thing became loose, and I was able to turn it just like it's now, you see. And I was able to turn it, and take it out. But that's the idea, right? So that's the idea. That's how you use these. And so yeah, now it should be better, much better. And then once I'm once I pick up the trailer fully, just out of curiosity, I'm gonna measure, see what, because I remember I think it was 6 inches over here, axle to the bottom of the frame, 6, 6, 7, and I think it was almost 9 over here, or 8.5. And once I pick up the trailer, I'm gonna do the same measuring procedure and see how it affects, because maybe then next time I will use the red one, the big shim. So red is the thickest, blue is in the middle, and yellow is the smallest one. So I did it. I managed to do it without taking the pins. But yeah, now I just have to remember to remove them, because this other guy I was talking to, he says if you don't remove them, there can be too much pressure, and then the trailer will be dragging sideways, and you can end up in the ditch. And basically the advice I got, he says it's best to put them in like you drive to your loading place without any shims, and then once you're just about to get loaded, you put the shims in. All right, and that's how I should have done it from the start, hopefully. And I'm gonna check these, but yeah, how do you check them, right? There's no leaks. I'm talking about the shocks. I really don't like that rust on the shocks. But what's happening tomorrow is that I already did all my border crossing paperwork. They're waiting for me at the border, and I'll have to, like, the trailer is manual clearance, I'll have to go in and pick up a bunch of paperwork from the broker. But the machine, it's automatic, regular electronic clearance. It's already pre-cleared. And then after that, I'm going to the Fontaine dealer in Ontario. He has to give me a couple of stickers for the trailer. And also I asked him to, I said, do you guys have D-rings in stock? I'm gonna buy 2 D-rings. I want to ask you to, I wanted to weld them somewhere here. Like on my previous trailer, I think it was over here. But I think on this one I'll just do two D-rings, one here and one here, because maybe I'll try to, some people say it's okay to flip both axles, like not to disconnect over there, and instead of flipping just one, when I'm empty, just flip both, but I don't know, that can be tricky because there's such a big radius, you really need a big machine. But if I could flip it, like I would just disconnect this pin over here, right, and keep this pin in here, just flip it, and then this entire thing will be sitting here. So that's the plan. So I said, yeah, so the trailer guys, they will give me they'll do the inspection. Oh, and I'll pay them to check the brakes, because only the last axle was fixed, right? This one, was it this one? This one was heating up, I think. Yeah, but they didn't do, TA did not do anything about the rest of the axles. So I want to make sure everything is greased on the axles, and that all the brakes are properly adjusted. Even though it says here that they have automatic slack adjusters, but I'm not too trustful of that since the trailer has been sitting for a while. And so grease, D-rings, and stickers. So that's priority number 2 after I deliver the load. No, priority number 1 is to cross the border, right? That can be challenging. Like I always say, it can take from 5 minutes to 5 hours. Priority number 2, deliver the load. Priority number 3 for Monday is to do the stickers and the D-rings and the grease. And then I'm booking an appointment with the hydraulics shop to do a full inspection of the hydraulics on the trailer to make sure there's no water or no rust inside the cylinders, and maybe we'll replace the oil, because I found information on the Fontaine website about the kind of oil they use, and they say for winter you can use this particular oil, which is, you know, heavier, and the cold temperatures are coming, so maybe I'll do that. But yeah, I want them to do full inspection of this part over here. And last but not least, I have to drive over to the trailer plant in Ontario that they agreed to build a custom flip box neck extension, because Fontaine is they say if I order it now it'll be in January. It'll be ready in January, and again it's FOB Alabama. I'm getting tired of driving, you know, 900 miles empty because I can never find a load going down that way. And so it's much longer time to build it, and it's 30% more expensive. Whereas I can get it locally 30% cheaper, and it'll be ready in 3 weeks. But they need to take the measurements. They say it's okay, like it doesn't matter your brand of your trailer, but they want me to go there with the trailer. They'll take the measurements of the neck, of the pins, you know, of the eyes, whatever they call. And one more last thing I have to do. If you remember that video where I traveled with this gauge over here, fuel restriction, right? So I need to change. I need to do an oil change. So I'll turn over the truck, the Terminator, to Kenworth dealer, and I don't remember what oil I used last time, but I want to use Shell Rotella T6 5W40. I like that for winter in Canada. Very nice oil. It's a bit expensive, but it's fully synthetic, not a blend. And I want to change that, and since I just changed the fuel filters, I'll keep these, but I'll buy a set of fuel filters for the future, because I really see that like one guy suggested that it might be caused by this biodiesel, especially, you know, like Love's truck stops in the US. They like using that. Like for right now, I just fueled up here, I think it's Exxon or something across the street, and you can see how clear, you know, the diesel is. Like you look at the fuel, it's like water. You know, that's high quality. It's the same as we have in Ontario in Canada. It's transparent, you know, it's like water, like vodka would be a better comparison. But in some places in US, like for example in Illinois, it's all biodiesel. So you look at the liquid going into your tank and it's all green, dark green, and occasionally I think I saw some corn pieces floating over there, but they say it's okay, so I don't know. No, I'm kidding, I'm joking. But that 20% biodiesel, even though the comments book says it's okay, but it's right on the edge of acceptable, you know, there's just too much biodiesel, so I don't like that. And I think that's what got my filters plugged, you know, because a couple of times I remember filling up and diesel was really bad, really green. So in the future I'll try to avoid that, but also I'll be carrying, I had it before, but then I used them, like the spare fuel filters. And that's it, yeah. So once I do all that, oil change, oh, and also I'll pay them, I'll usually tell them, you know, charge me an hour for 1 hour of like general inspection, because if you don't tell them, they don't do that, you know. Just I wanted to go under and around the truck and see what doesn't make sense, you know, something missing or something is loose. Just do a quick general inspection, but especially under the truck, see if there's any leaks, any loose connections, you know. I always do that. And of course grease. The truck also has to be greased, and I do oil changes as Cummins recommends for heavy haul. It's every 25,000 miles or 40,000 kilometers. And so I do oil change and grease, and then in 12,500 miles or 20,000 kilometers, I do another grease, right? And now for the first couple of months, usually I grease the trailer not as often as the truck, but every oil change on the truck, like every 25,000 miles or 40,000 kilometers. But now I think it's a good idea for the first 2-3 months, grease them together, because again the trailer was sitting on the ground for so long, you know. But all in all, yeah, I'm really excited. You know, I like this trailer. It's a bit heavy, but I can see the big difference between 55 ton and 60 ton. It's a much stronger trailer, you know, everything is beefy, wide beams, you know, the neck is super strong. And all I need now, so that's priority number one in terms of upgrades, is I thought it would be like a Jeep or a spreader, but because the neck is so short, goal number one in terms of upgrades is to get this flip box, right? And so if I order it Tuesday, Wednesday, probably give the guy some down payment, maybe like $1,000 Canadian, and I should get it sometime in December, you know, which is pretty cool. That's it. Thanks for watching. So hopefully this video would help somebody who's learning just like me how to use shims. And again, it's all experimentation, right? The best way to see which one you need is to measure again the distance between the axle and the bottom of the frame, and to make sure that the difference is within 1 inch on different axles. If it's more than 1 inch, you need to increase the size of the shim or add another shim, like some people put even 2 shims in there, right? But hopefully after I use them for a couple of times, I'll be much more knowledgeable than now. I never use them in my life, right? I never had a modular trailer before, so this is the first modular trailer. So have a good weekend, boys and girls. Be good.